It's Sunday, it's 6 p.m, it's the 23rd of February. Welcome to the Sunday Swinger Show. Let's jump straight into it. So how are you all doing? Again, as every week, for anybody that's new, on the right hand side of the screen, we've got a list in green. That's everything we're going to be running over today, free on YouTube. As we move down the list and it turns grey, these are the assets that we're going to be covering for our members in at protraderslounge.com. So that'll carry over into our dashboard where we look for gold and indices swing trades, altcoin swing trades, and Bitcoin swing trades. So they're coming into really nice levels at the minute, the way the market is running. So really interesting stuff for that. But before we go any further, let's run through what we're going to cover today. So number one, as always, we're going to cover the trade recap and the setups that we had a look at from last week. And we're going to, see, did they play out? If they did, what way to manage them, or if they haven't, are they still valid? So we'll run over those. Then we usually move on to charge your asset, is where we spin the wheel and we add in all of the assets that you have requested this week. Now, it's funnily enough, it's all leaning on one asset again this week. So we're actually just going to do it because it's a majority. So we're going to be covering the asset that's being requested the most instead of spinning the wheel this week. And then finally, we're going to run on to altcoin of the week. So the difference between charting your asset and altcoin of the week is charting your asset is what you pick for us to chart, and alt of the week is what we pick for you to give you a setup. And that was covered last week by Trader R. So we have a very special guest for alt of the week this week, so that should be interesting. One thing that I do want to cover before we jump into it is, if you are interested, there is a free, I never mentioned this on the last show, but there is a free access to get into Pro Traders Lounge, which goes into a free Discord. We also have, there's a number of free video modules that you can watch there as well. Just a couple of few beginner ones that we will be adding to as we go on through the weeks. So I just said I would mention that for anybody. And yeah, that's about it. So let's jump into trade recap and look at what we were charting and the setups we were looking for from last week. So boom, here we are. So one of the first ones is CRV. Again, requested by you. The trade is still, I don't want to trade this lower time frame stuff, especially with the way the markets are. So yes, there might be plenty of trades down here on the lower time frame, but it's not in a place where I want to be trading it, just looking at the chart. It's not what I'm looking for. So I want to be looking for either lower to come down into this reaction zone that we have down here at the lows, or I want to be looking for higher for us to come up and, up into that point of control, up into that value area high, and start to make our way back down again. So it depends. I'm holding out for CRV. So trade setups on CRV are still valid. They just haven't hit yet. So we will come across many like that. The other one was Trump coin. Again, they didn't come into the level that I was interested for. It didn't come into the levels I was interested for. What I was looking for here last week, when we were roughly about here, was we either come back up and we test the highs of this range, or we just start to spill down. I would be cautious about taking a trade at the low of this range, but I am aware that there is liquidity sitting there on these two lows. So let's move these over. I'm more interested in taking a 10 cent liquidity, to be honest, but we could have a look for a real fast scalp here coming down to take those lows. But again, it's not really one I'm interested in. I said the same last week. So two of them haven't played out yet, but the levels are still valid, which is okay. We move on to, or just let me remind myself, we move on to the third one, which is Grass Coin. Now, this one is one we started charting a couple of weeks ago. And if you go back onto the session that I was looking at, or that I was charting it, what you'll see is what I was looking for was if we move up. Now, there was multiple scalp shorts that was taken here. I took 2 losses trading this one. So I'll show you where. I took 2 losses over here and here. 2 small losses. Stopped out at a loss. Didn't even get to take profit 1. So that's that. Now, what I did say is in this reaction zone, we're looking for 2 things. That when price comes back up into it, we look for a short and we look to trade it down and to see if there's any weakness. But the key point I made last week is we need to see a break of this trend line. We need to see a break of this trend line, and we didn't get it. It can be very hard to read this on a lower time frame, but if you come up onto the daily chart, you can see there's no daily candles closing below that value area low at 160. So on grass USD, you see there's just no weakness. Sometimes you have to go up onto the higher time frame to see that, because it can look very, very washed on the lower time frame. The one thing that did get us in here was, you know, this reclaim came back up. Breaking back up above this level was a really nice area to take a scalp long. Now it came back and took you out of it as fast as you got into it, and that's the beauty about these altcoins. But the respect to this level where it came up, or made its way up, came back for a back test on that naked point of control, and made its way back up to the reaction zone up above where we were looking at. So we might take a quick look at this and see, are the levels still valid, and can we move on to something else? I think I will delete these levels, even though they're still valid. I'll leave it on. I'll leave this one on above. Okay. Now I want to take this uptrend volume, so using the fixed range. Okay, so looking at this, the volume has died off up above this range. I can see this coming back to test maybe the point of control, or to come into this level here at the uptrend value area high at 186. Looks weak in terms of the move above that uptrend value area high. Show you that again. You can see here we came up, came back and tested it. Came up and made a higher high to that previous high, and now we're kind of retracing back. In terms of volume on this exchange anyway, it's dead. There's no spot buying stepping in here at all. It's completely dead. So came up into those pivots again. Okay. So far we have the value area of a higher time frame, the value area high, or the value area low I should say, lining up with the previous range point of control. Check a fib level on that. Do we have a 382? We have a 382 there as well. So I'm going to give you a tip. Adding in the 425 with the 382 is a really, really nice level to look for a reaction. So what it gets is when you have like bots and people trading that they set limits on that 382, it takes them out of their position, stops them out, and then reverses. Again, doesn't have to happen, but you do see this a lot on the stock market. You see it on Bitcoin at 425, even on a higher time frame, gets used time and time again. So this is the zone I will be looking for so far. check something. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in buying it any, you know, in here. I'm not interested in here because the volume was weak coming up above that value or the uptrend value area high, so I'm not interested. Let me check one more thing. Session volume. Like that. Naked point of control down here. We do have one above. Don't know if I like it, to be honest. You could get a reaction off it. So what could happen here is this, where you come, there's a real internal move, come down, take that liquidity, hit that naked point of control at 1.72 ish, and then come back up to maybe take this lower high and then down into that level. But I wouldn't be interested in this internal move at all. I would be more interested in a lower high up here. You know, so if we were to, like, hypothetically say that we put in a low at a swing failure there, and then we look at our maybe golden pocket level, or 786 because it's an altcoin, you know, up into that region where that could be a much nicer place to look for a trade, more so than taking this internal long. But you do have nice confluence. You have a naked point of control there. This local uptrend value area low. You have a swing failure. You know what? That mightn't be so bad now that I look at it that way. 20% move. Just with the way this thing moves, I will be wary. I would take small positions on your paper trading accounts, that is. Because this is non-financial advice. I will be very cautious here. And yeah, well, I do like that. What would that be? Down into the golden pocket. Something like this. Yeah. So something like that for price to keep coming down. Test this low. If you see support down here, look for a trade, look for a long trade, scalp only on your paper trading accounts, educational purposes only, and then we're heading up to look for a lower high. If you did get into a trade here, you'd want to have a lot of take profits before it even gets here. Maybe let a little bit run to see do we come up and actually get our you know, the main area we're looking for this 50% move, from what I recall. Is it 50% move from reclaiming that value area low? So long, potential short here, and then back in. That's where this is where I'd be mainly looking for a position down here to see does this hold. It's a much nicer region. It tests the 382, which I like. I like that more so. Something like along the lines of this. This one I will be very, very, very skeptical about, but we'll mark it in there anyway just to see. So kind of sideways price action basically, but looking to hold down here around that 150 to 153 region must hold, or else we can just give all this back and head down, and it will be just a case that this was just another lower high, for example. So you had a high, lower high, lower high. This would just be another lower high, and we continue to the downside. So we have to be open-minded to that. That's why we only take paper trades based on reaction. So that is grass. Let me mark that off. Grass done. Trump done. Let's have a look at an update on CRO. How's that looking? Still in play. Still hasn't come down to our region, so that's okay. Still another bit to go. So if we take our minds back to where we were at, let's get rid of this for a second. So Filecoin, and to be honest with you, this is the one that everybody has been wanting again. You know, I think from the posts I'm putting up on Twitter, I'm after gathering momentum with the Filecoin community, and this is being requested multiple times for this week. So take us right back. First, we got this short from up here where we were looking for that inverse head and shoulders pattern, where we got a fake out of the retail and we started to move down and into this little range. It was then when we identified that this is a potential descending triangle and that we were looking for, you know, a fake out to the lows and to come back up above to squeeze them out, okay? To squeeze price out, basically, or to squeeze retail price out. And we did get that. I would have liked a little bit more of a move, but we got the move. This was taken, this is a compound position, but this was taken multiple times by myself, and I know a good few of the community here on X and on YouTube took this trade also, and inside in Pro Traders Lounge. So what we were looking for, if you go back and watch that video, was a shallow move down below these previous lows and to come back up, which we got the first move, we got a higher low, and then we moved up into that naked point of control, which we had marked out from that week as well. So that was a really, really nice, I was ready for this to keep going, to be honest with you, but that was a really, really, really nice level to look at. So broke down and it came into the region that we were looking for on the very first episode we done with Filecoin, where we're looking at, go back and watch it, that 28 cent region. Now, if you want to know how we got that 28 cent region, you're going to have to come over to Pro Traders Lounge, where we are, you know, you're going to have to come over to Pro Traders Lounge where you can learn these methods and strategies. But this one we kept for the members. Well, we gave it out on the public, but it was the members that know the statistics of what to do when price gets down here. And we got that move up. This trade was also taken. So we took this trade also. There was a couple of us got in on it that are trading Filecoin within the group, and really, really nice trade so far. So it came up, tested our previous reaction zone and gave a bounce back down again. Okay, so what we want to look for now is what is next. In confluence with that, we also had that fractal from last week as well. Again, I was looking for this to maybe fake out of that triangle. So, you know, I was looking for something to maybe come up out of the triangle like this and up into that reaction zone. But once we have the levels and when price gets there, we can remain ready. So levels to the upside and downside. And in this case, we didn't get the big impulsive move up that we were looking for here. But nonetheless, if you got in at that low, still a nice 16% move to the upside. So that brings us to where we are at now. Is this the low for Filecoin? Is this the low for Filecoin? Or is this thing going to keep on, you know, dropping down and heading down? Because, you know, on MEXC that there is more data and there is, you know, loads of reasons for this to come down to that 19 cent region. So I'm going to mark that 19 cent region. Next layer of support. You can find this on last week's session where I marked this out on MEXC. So what we want to know is the low in? Is this thing going to impulse and take off? Hot air rises, as they say, or is this going to drop down to lower levels? So let's clear it all off and start from the start, see where we're at. And yeah, let's go. Okay, first things first, we want to take our volume. Okay, just before it drops there. What we're looking for is to see where this point of control and value area low, are they staying up here as price is developing down here? Are they staying, or do they drop down into where we're at now? You can see just in this little period, you can see this high volume node, if you watch it here, is starting to grow. So there's more volume being put in down here. more volume again, and you can see at this point we're nearly matching the amount of volume that's coming at that point of control before the drop. Okay, so continue this over. The volume is getting more bigger and bigger. As soon as this takes over this amount of volume, the point of control switches along with that value area low. So that's what we're going to see. Do we have a new area of value down here? So far we don't, and now it dropped. So let's try pinpoint where it dropped. So it was on that low. If we come down onto right onto a lower time frame, I would say here on that engulfing candle. No, a little bit further. And another little bit further. That's where we got the drop, where we're sitting at that point of control now. So these are our local value areas that we want to look at. So we're going to mark them in. Value area low. Point of control. Not much area below, if you remember. Let me just put these in their own case first. And we'll add in this, put it in its own folder. What if you remember the first time I was charting this for you guys, I was identifying that while we were down here, sorry, let me put it over another little bit. While we were down here, there wasn't much price below value. Now, if you can remember, I was drawing this out at the time saying I would like to see it move down because there's no price before value. And this is when we got this high in. So it added to that bearish sentiment to pull the market back down to fill this out. So we want to see how this global area of value is looking now, or these global volume levels. Starting to look a bit more healthy now. But as you pull it the whole way over, it still looks like it can come down lower again. It really does. So while it looks healthy and we're starting to put in volume here, you can see as we come over, it does need that little bit of work. I do like this, but it has a bit of work to do. Nice volume down here. Point of control is pulled down. So now we have to mark in these global levels. Value area low. Local volume. So it's the same point of control. That out. So this reaction zone down here is still valid, okay? Just because we came down and bounced off one side of it does not mean that it's invalidated. We got a really nice bounce of just from that 46%. So if you were sitting there ready and waiting, that was a really nice trade to take. Loads of reasons why to close it out there as well. Again, if you want to know how to manage these trades, just come into Pro Traders Lounge. But a simple back test. If I was to see that coming up a little bit more and in here, to see more, you know, more shorts build up here, but without it breaching back down again, that could have been the recipe for a really nice short squeeze, but we did not get it. So now we need to figure out that we have our kind of local and global levels all kind of lining up. I think we can just use the local levels. Yes. Get rid of that. Just use these. Okay, so now I want to look at this extension here. See where that's coming in at. It's coming in at that 1-to-1 is coming in at the value area low. Okay, that's 786 for a second, and you can see we're back testing that point of control at the minute. So we can look for further downside unless this reclaims that point of control. Only then do we start to look for more upside. But this looks like it has a bit more work to do to the downside. These levels below would be the kind of last port of call, in my opinion, before we get a really nice drop. So coming into that reaction zone again, down into that low reaction zone, roughly about 25 cent. You know, again, if you know the methods in Pro Traders Lounge, members, you do know the statistics. You do know what to look for down here. Everyone on YouTube, I would wait that if we do start to drop here, don't try and catch any knives and wait for it to get back above into that range, because that will be a sign of strength to see this get back in there. So right now, I wouldn't be catching knives if you don't know what we're looking at. So you do have a reason for a local bounce there to come down and take those lows. So I can't see coming down into that value area low, maybe sweeping these two lows here. I can't see a reason why this could hold. So that's the first place I'm going to look for a scalp long only on a reaction. So lose that local value area low and then for a reclaim. Let's clean this up a little bit. Do we have the 786 up here? It is. So first trade is if we come down here, a shallow swing failure pattern of this low here, but only take the trade on a reclaim of this channel. So you want to see it come back in, or of this area value. You want to see it come up, tap that point of control and hold. It's then and only then that you would look for a scalp long here, and it's a scalp long where you could trade that roughly back up maybe to the say it for me, the value area high. Alternative to that, I will be waiting for lower prices, that 25 cent zone, or in and around here, that you would look for a reaction. So you'll be looking for price to come down into this, see a reaction, see the candle let up really quickly, and only on a reclaim of that bigger level, at value area high or value area low, I should say, would you be looking for a trade set up here. So I think they're the only two local trades that I see, to be honest. So either let's mark them in, let's do them. So local trade setup 1. We come down into that reaction zone, which ends at about 25 cent thereabouts. So let's bring it down to an even 25 cent. So you want to see it coming down here. I would not advise this on any of the paper trading accounts. I would wait for a reclaim of that global or local value area low, and I would take a scalp at that. The other one that you were so let's put it in here like this. The other one then that you're looking for is there. The other one you're looking for then is this local play, just local one to come down, fast swing failure pattern. Wait for it to reject off that point of control, and then if it holds, you look for it. So again, that will be here. And it would be a scalp only again. You could trade that up to that value area high. I would like to see this develop more before I'd say any more than a scalp. If we lose that zone, if we lose the zone here at 25 cent, you know, you can be looking down here to probably that 19 cent, 16 cent region. So that is Memecoin. I'll never get used to that. So it's been a trade recap to go over what we went over. Charting your asset. This one has been requested more than anything today, or anything this week. We have two setups that I would look for. This is all I'd really look for locally. If this plays out, we can look at something else. If it doesn't and it drops down, well, there's lower prices. We'll start to look at that maybe next week. But down at this level, let me actually see before I go any further. Down at this level down here, where is the 886? Because that would be a really nice place to marry up with that 1-to-1. Yeah. That is nice. Keep an eye down here anyway. There's the reaction zone number 1. Reaction zone number 2 is up here. This only on a reclaim. So now we're going to go to alt of the week. But before we do go to alt of the week, if anybody is interested in joining us over at the dashboard in Pro Traders Lounge for gold and indices swing trading for the week, for altcoin swing trading for the week, and for Bitcoin swing trades of the week, please do visit us over at Pro Traders Lounge. You can see here you can get your lounge membership or your elite membership. Now I have a really nice surprise for you all, that Imi is back today. Imi is back. He's doing our gold and indices updates. I also have some good news that Imi has given 50% off for 10 members to join up on the elite package. Now that can be existing members or it can be new members, but there is 10 positions there at 50% off. This is a gift from Imi to mark him coming back after his holidays. So if you want to join us inside in the group, join Imi on gold and indices. It's Netzo Chronos on all coins, and the one and only went sailing Mr. Michael on Bitcoin. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to hand you over to Imi. Hope you all enjoy.
What's up, folks? It's Trader War.
Hi folks, thanks for joining me. Right, so I'm going to start with some context. In the Pro Traders Lounge, after this session, I'm going to go into the wider markets and I guess give some context on where I think the markets are going overall, as well as crypto. But for this session, I'll keep it as simple as this. The way I see things, Bitcoin is ranging. We're right in the middle of a high volume node. If you do a volume pull here, you can see we're dead on the high volume node. Technically not the best place to trade. And there's two big factors here for me. We had the 100k rally. Price went above 100k over here in kind of late last year, and there's lots of kind of frenzy of buying action in this price action here. And secondary kind of frenzy was when the US government were talking of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So to me, there's potential, especially above 100k, for there to be lots of trapped longs, which can be bearish. Right, so that's the context for Bitcoin. Other thing is we have these kind of roughly equal lows down here, and they're largely untested. So that to me is a lot of untested liquidity. So that's a context for crypto. In terms of I've got this marked off already. In terms of the lows, the CME, there's a big untested gap on a daily time frame that can be a magnet for price action. Another kind of potential magnet and potential reason for crypto to drop and Bitcoin to drop. And finally, total 3. You can see my pen marks already. I actually went through this earlier for myself, and what you can see here is two things. Firstly, we're kind of SR flipping this level here. So simple SR level here, simple wick, and we're kind of SR flipping it, potentially more bearish. So that's a big level to claim overall, especially for the altcoins. This is crypto free, which is all the altcoins minus Bitcoin and ETH. So that's a big level to claim as a first sign of strength. And also we have a big massive untested wick on a huge amount of altcoins. And these big untested wicks can be magnets of price action as well. So if Bitcoin started to drop, I wouldn't be surprised if overall if the altcoins carried on dropping, because a lot of them have been pretty bearish. So that's the kind of context for crypto. Finally, one more thing to look at is the kind of biggest crypto related stocks. MicroStrategy is looking bearish. Another test of this gap to downside. This is the biggest gap in the daily price action. And Coinbase is a biggie. So I've got my pen marks all over my trading view. Hopefully it won't distract you too much. So with Coinbase, it's been looking pretty bearish. There's a nice big gap to the downside. I would personally wait to see if this gap is tested for and if we get a bullish bounce off it. My ideal scenario for example, if crypto came into this wick and rallied off it without breaking it, that could be a bullish sign. If at the same time we had a move on Bitcoin below these lows and into this gap, if things could align, we don't know. You can't tell yet. We need to wait to see what market structure and volume do. So if these things as well, if Coinbase especially drops down into this gap and rallies, I'd be more confident in the kind of high time frame long on crypto overall. So it could be a nice kind of additional piece of confluence and sign of strength to rally off that. Right. So if you look at some of the big crypto here, you can see same pattern everywhere. You've got a big, massive, untested wick to downside and ranging, sideways ranging. I've got it marked off in a black channel. BNB, same kind of thing. Let's go to daily time frame again. Untested wick, potential magnet for price action, XRP. It's sort of everything. Literally everything has this untested wick. Doge, Cardano, SHIB, DOT. So what I'd like to do in these situations is to find the ones that don't have that same price action, because they're kind of doing their own thing. And so far I've picked off on 4 of these. So you've got Pepe here, which we did have a wick, but it's been tested now. My pen marks again, they're everywhere. Let's zoom into Pepe and see what Pepe's doing. So if we're going to have that scenario I just mentioned with a wick, that wick tested, it was tested there, so which can be a bit more bearish. So you've got to be cautious of this one. What I like about Pepe is you got this nice channel, almost a perfect channel. So if we can get this price action here, it could drop below this channel, and it could be a small drop, a deep one. Don't know yet. It could be something that takes out that low. We can't tell. It's to move back up into the channel that would be a long for me. So that's keep it as simple as that. Take a long if we get a rally back into that channel. Big TP here, and the sign of strength will be to claim that SR level. So it can be that simple. It's like channel trading. Trump's on everyone's radar because it's kind of a nasty one. Everyone bought into it when they meant election time, especially. Everyone bought into Trump coin. Lots of trapped longs in the price action, and boom, 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 down. Big move to the downside. What Trump coin has been doing is very simple SR flips. Sorry. So we had big move to the upside, drop down. You can see here we got such nice roughly equal lows over here in price action. Drop down, back test, and a bearish drop. So that's more bearish than bullish. That's a big sign. Claiming that is a big sign of strength. Same kind of thing over here. You can look at it more locally. That's saying that lower SR level is here, right? So roughly equal lows. Drop away from it, back test, more bearish than bullish. A big sign of strength will be to claim that level. So, and locally, similar kind of thing going on here. We've got very sideways price action. I've marked off these 2 order blocks. That's an hourly order block for me, and I think the other one's a 4-hour one. Yeah, it's 4-hour order block there. So these 2 teal colored zones are order blocks for especially my style of order block trading. And same kind of thing with Trump coin. There isn't a huge amount of support left in this price action here. So it's if you just take a kind of blind long, to me it's risky, because there's easily potential for much further downside. If this aligns with any rallies in Bitcoin and overall markets, great, and overall crypto markets, great. But to me, nice equal highs over here. Same scenario, same price action. I'd like to see a drop below it. Could be anywhere. and a rally back into it. If we don't get that, and if it's just going to get bullish over here, then we could say mark off these highs as levels to claim. If we claim them, that could be more bullish. Big TP there, and potentially look for that zone and that zone as secondary kind of TP zones. So that's Trump. Fartcoin. I've been trading Fartcoin. It's crazy. I don't know. It's like one of these crazy meme coins that I'm not sure if it has a purpose, but yes, Fartcoin really bullish, dropping like crazy. Not a huge amount of support left down here. Locally, same kind of thing as before, same pattern as before. So it's been looking more bearish than bullish. Equal lows, breakaway to downside, back test. That is a level to claim as a big sign of strength. If we can claim that, great. We can look more upside and lots of equal highs, untested highs over here. Nice potential for a short squeeze. But right now, Fartcoin, you can see I've got it marked off here, is like its price is like fractal. Equal lows, roughly equal lows here. Drop below. Haven't tested that at SR level yet. So that's one big sign of strength to claim that level. What we're doing now is testing this high volume node. If we do a fixed range volume pull over here, you'll see it's a pretty big volume, high volume node. It's nice. I like it. And ordinarily I would take a long off that, but we're actually right on it now, testing it right now. So I've kind of missed this one as a trade. As a scalp at the very least, it would have been, look at the 1 minute time frame. It's perfect touch on that. And to me, anything more than 0.51% is a great scalp, and we had a 1% bounce off that already. So, and now it's pretty sideways. So if this is probably going to go out in 3 hours, so this could be a missed move. But say for a long-term trade on Fartcoin, for a long-term trade, ooh, it's a tricky one now. That's a tricky one. I would say that SR level. We can claim that. Great. That would be a really nice sign of strength. And then you can say this will be the basing pattern. This sideways price action here. Break above that. Possible backtest rally. That would be really nice. I'd like to see that on Fartcoin on a high time frame. Finally, like I was saying earlier, the ones that aren't doing that giving us that same pattern as before. Look at these pen marks everywhere. The ones that aren't giving this giving us that same pattern with a big wick to the downside and oops, that's an order block. Right, so nice. So what we have here, what are my pen marks doing? I forgot what I was doing over here. Right, let's keep it nice and neat like this. This is how simple my TA can be. Right, so what do we have here? Nice range and a nice kind of breakout order block. Can be great for a back test. And price is very close to it now. So the way I would trade this is say we don't always get exact order block back tests now, because I think a lot of people look at them. Sometimes it's a front run, and that could be a sign of where price wants to go in future. But you can ordinarily get a nice trade even if a front run on an order block, as long as you get like that change in market structure. So I've already got this blue zone marked here as an imbalance. Not sure what an imbalance is. Some of you call them fair value gaps or single prints. Depends on what kind of stuff you trade. So that to me it will be like an initial TP on any bullishness on ENA. This is ENA. My ideal scenario would be a move right into that. So this is high time frame. This is a daily time frame. So there's still potential for this. If we got a move into that order block, and I mean, when I say a move, I mean like literally an exact move into it. That'd be a perfect trade for me. Take a long stop loss below it, which is that key level. You can see the little swing point below it as a key level. That would be my stop loss, paper trading only. And what I'd like to see is it's kind of curving upwards reversal, and at least claim these highs for a few TPs here. Imagine we got this price action here, this move to downside rally. I would take a long on when price starts to curve upwards, especially if you've got an engulfing candle there. The deeper we go into that order block, the more risky it is for me, because it could mean when the price wants to break down below it. So I would watch out for consolidation and a further drop. But ordinarily, I would say this should be a good long, as long as we don't lose this order block. And a big TP would be those equal highs here, that imbalance there, and I would say leave a little to run because you've got lots of untested highs, lots of lower highs in this price action. It's only up to here that you start getting some real resistance. So there's potential in ENA. So, like I said, guys, if in the lounge, I'll post all my other juicy setups, especially if I find something that's kind of different from the overall trend. And yeah, thanks for joining me. See you next time. Take care.